pro refrigeration, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the brand Sub-Zero. So what does Sub-Zero mean to the industry? What do you think about the brand, and really where's its place?
Sure, so Sub-Zero has been manufacturing refrigeration for over 100 years. They have been in this integrated and built-in refrigeration market for approximately 40 years. They really pioneered the industry. So they were first to market, and today they are still a major player in this built-in refrigeration market.
All right, so they're a major player. So what makes a Sub-Zero a Sub-Zero? You said they've pioneered some things. What did they pioneer?
Sure, so one thing that makes Sub-Zero different than the majority of other refrigerators offered out there is their sealed system and their separate refrigeration and freezing systems. So refrigerators typically have one compressor and one evaporator. Those pieces are the motor that drives the refrigeration cycle. With a Sub-Zero, you have two compressors and two evaporators so that there is no air transfer between your refrigerator and your freezer. What that does practically for you is, with no air transfer, you're going to have a much more consistent temperature. The benefit of having a more consistent temperature is that there's going to be less fluctuation. Fluctuation in temperature is one of the things that drives food to spoil. So you want to make sure that the temperature is as consistent as possible, and Sub-Zero does a really good job of that.
Okay, so again, to make that point, it sounds like every other fridge has one compressor. For the most part.
For the most part.
And up until the recent, was really cold in the freezer. As you opened your fridge 20 times a day, that compressor would kick on, but you're telling there was air transfer. Really, the motor, the mechanism controlling was taking freezer air and replacing your refrigerator air as you opened your fridge all day long. So it was constantly trying to keep something cool. And now we get back to a Sub-Zero, and they have two compressors, so one's maintaining constant temperature in the freezer, and one is dedicated and constant for the refrigerator.
Yes.
And so I would imagine you're saying no food transfer, no air transfer, so you're not getting the freezer burn as often, and produce is lasting much longer, and your food is lasting longer, which is great. I would imagine, talk to me about longevity of the fridge. That would kind of, to me, make sense that maybe that fridge would last longer. What does an average fridge last that doesn't have that technology?
Sure, so the average appliance life today that we see, and to my point earlier, refrigeration is the most serviced appliance category. The average lifespan that we see for a refrigerator is really about 8 to 10 years. So the reason to consider investing in a Sub-Zero or an integrated refrigerator is generally they have a longer life expectancy. I have had clients come to me looking to replace older Sub-Zeros that are 20, 25, 30, sometimes even 35 years old.
Wow.
So they do have a life expectancy that is way beyond the industry average.
Right, and it's probably important to consider if you're thinking about putting these custom wood panels or making this space truly customized around this specific unit, that it may last significantly longer than a standard fridge.
Absolutely. There are a couple other points too that I previously didn't mention, a couple points that make Sub-Zero different. So relative to a lot of the industry, there are competitors that have invested in having a dual evaporator, dual compressor system, but there are some small things that give Sub-Zero a competitive advantage. So one of them, to that food preservation story, is an air scrubber system. Sub-Zero refrigerators have a filter inside of them that is designed to remove ethylene gas. And ethylene gas is what foods give off when they start to spoil. So they really take an extra step to maintain food preservation for a longer period of time. So that's really great, especially if you really don't want to go to the store and purchase produce every few days. You'd rather do it once a week or once every other week. You will have a better food preservation story. Another thing too is soft close and magnetic crispers. So you do have a really, really good humidity control in the bins inside the refrigeration, and they are the only built-in or integrated refrigerator today to offer an internal water dispenser, which is really nice, especially because people are wanting to go more integrated, wanting to make things more seamless in the kitchen. A lot of people are opting away from having an external ice and water dispenser on the front of their refrigerator, but if they like to access filtered cold water, you can still do so from the interior.
Okay, so certainly to wrap that up, Sub-Zero's been a pioneer. It's kind of built that standard in that industry and still creates a lot of uniques. But talk to me, there are some other brands, right?
Sure.
I mean, what else do you have out there as options?
So there are today several brands that manufacture built-in and integrated refrigeration. I think the biggest competitor to Sub-Zero is the BSH family. So the BSH family, that factory manufactures refrigeration for Thermador, which is a huge competitor to Sub-Zero. Miele's refrigeration is sourced from there. Bosch is now in the integrated category as well, and Gaggenau. Another huge competitor is the Whirlpool family. So Whirlpool owns Jenn-Air and KitchenAid. Those brands are now making integrated refrigeration. You see Vikings, GE Monogram. Liebherr is a German company that makes built-ins. And Fisher-Paykel has kind of been dabbling in that market now too.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot of brands that are certainly trying to jump into that water and chase after this.